Hey everybody, it's Casey Williams. You can't judge a brute by his muscles because the guy who works out at the gym all the time might also be the guy who goes to the symphony, loves technology, and is your best friend. And we talk about vehicles that kind of fit that profile. It'd be something like what we have this week, the 2025 Ram 1500 RHO. Let's go have a look at it. We'll talk about its refinements in a minute, but this particular brute looks like it just ran across a desert. It actually has the looks and the technology to back that up. But let's really start on the exterior. I really like the way it looks. It spent a lot of time in the gym and it looks it. I like the big bulging fenders. I like all the black trim. I like the big hood snorkel, the air extractors, the black grill, the hooks down below, all of it. Looks really tough. Come around the side. I mean, just to give you an idea of the proportions of this vehicle, those are 18-inch wheels. It's absolutely ginormous. You got the rock rails down below too, more air extractors up here. It comes standard in the crew cab form with the 5'7" bed. This is the only configuration you can get the RHO, but it's exactly what you need. Big bulging bed. I come around back, of course, it is tall. In fact, it has over 11 inches of ground clearance, which is twice as much as a standard Ram, so you really can get over the boulders. But getting into it is a little bit hard without some help. Fortunately, there's a step here that comes down to help you step into the bed. Power tailgate, power down and power up. Inside there's a power plug. The tonneau folds up pretty easily. Very easy to get in the bed. Down below, everything you need to hook up the trailers. The hitch is already pre-installed. All the wiring's pre-installed. Tow hooks in case you really do get stuck out in the mud. And of course, those great big giant exhausts. I really like the way the truck looks. Well, getting into this truck is not easy because there is no step bars down below except for the little rock rail to protect the vehicle. But that's fine. If you're doing some serious off-roading, you don't want those running boards anyway. They just get ripped off. But once you're in here, and there's a grab bar, there is a lot of space in here. I mean, I'm sitting here stretched out, very comfortable. Get 3 passengers in here, no problem at all. Also have power ports back here, the USBs, household plug down below, rear climate control. So if you're taking the family, you're taking a long drive, no problem getting everybody in here. Well, moving up front, again, it's a little hard to get up in here, but there's a grab handle. Once in here, it's more like a luxury car than it really is a rough and tumble pickup truck. Look at the front of this. So let's just kind of start with the whole screen and the layout and the technology in front of us. Again, I said it was a brute, but it's also pretty technologically savvy. I do like the flat screen instrument cluster. There is a heads-up display that hovers over the hood, so I like that from a driving perspective. Very clear, very crisp, tachometer looks nice. So it's really nice here. Center, Rams had the vertical tablet-style touchscreen for a few years now. I do like the way this one works. You've got redundant buttons here on the left, actual buttons for the climate control, change temperature here if you want to, fan speeds, same over here for the passenger, defrosters, AC. So you've got real buttons for those, a proper volume and tuning knob, which I love. And this is what I always talk about in vehicles. They're so intuitive, and these are very nice. They're kind of like this knurled aluminum, feel very nice, feel very expensive, but they're there. Down below, you've got the media inputs, navigation, phone, easy to kind of click through. Everything here, phone. A little slow on startup, but there you go. Phone, comfort. So you've got heated and ventilated front seats. You've got a heated leather wrapped steering wheel. I don't really like the screen. I think it's really crisp and clear. Very nice. Down below that, though, you've got your auxiliary inputs for the vehicle, USBs. Plenty of room to get 2 phones here to wirelessly charge. Trailer brake controllers down below. This panel here is all the 4-wheel drive system. I've got an auto right now, but you can lock the rear axle. You've got 4 low, 4 high. There's your auto stop start button. This has the launch control, so you can press that and it'll kind of brake and help you get off the line very quickly. And then you've got different drive modes. So this one I've been driving it mostly in comfort mode, but also has a sport mode and off-road modes. So that's pretty easy to use. Down the console though, I like the big deep cup holders, like the deep console here. Lots of space in it. You know, the power port, household power port here in the console. So you can plug your devices in there if you want to. But beyond all that, it's just really nice, nicely laid out. I like the details, I like the stitching, I like the big comfy seats with the suede. There's also an auxiliary screen here on the right. So this is for your co-pilot passenger. They can control audio, they can control navigation, they can do some basic functions over there, take some load off the driver. So I think that's also pretty convenient. It does have the rear camera mirror. So again, if you've got a load in the back and it's sticking up high, this has a camera right out the back. And you can see straight out the back of the vehicle. I think it's very handy, especially in a truck. And this has the 19-speaker Harman Kardon audio system. Sounds really crisp, really clear. I just think it just did a very nice job. It's very comfortable. I spent a lot of miles on it this week, and it was just a very pleasant place to be. Well, as big as this truck is, it's actually pretty easy to drive. I've spent a lot of time within the city, and it's a little tight on, small city streets. I wouldn't try to parallel park it in the busiest part of town. But on normal streets and around, especially on the highway, it's been a really nice drive. But one thing that is very different about this one than the TRX that came before it is the TRX had a supercharged V8. This one, and again, pretty technologically advanced, but not quite as much power. And that old V8 had about 700 horsepower. This one is a twin turbo inline 3-liter 6-cylinder engine. So a much smaller engine than the old V8, but it still produces 540 horsepower, 521 pound-feet of torque. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, so it is certainly not slow. 8-speed automatic transmission. Gas mileage, I wouldn't say it's great, but I also wouldn't say it's terrible for a truck with the capability of this. 15 miles per gallon in the city, 21 on the highway, and it's got a 33-gallon gas tank. So it doesn't get the best gas mileage, but you certainly get on the road and drive a very long ways with the gas you have. So this week, I drove around town, but I spent a lot of highway miles in it. Drove from Indianapolis most of the way to Cincinnati and back a couple of times. And what I really like about the suspension, this has an adaptive electronic suspension. In comfort mode, it rides very comfortably. There's big fat tires and all the suspension travel. Just soaks up the highway, soaks up potholes. Just really nice. But you can put it in a sport mode and tighten things up and give it a little more handling. Another feature this has Chrysler's hands-off driving system. So you get it on the highway, put it in cruise control, hit set, and when it detects that you're on an approved road, it'll give you the symbol, little green steering wheel symbol in the dashboard, and you take hands off and then sit there. You might notice if you look closely, there's a little sensor right here, and that sensor is watching me watching the road. I was looking at another car off the side, and it started beeping and buzzing because I wasn't looking straight ahead. So it's definitely paying attention to you. You're not going to go take a nap. You're not going to read a book. But what I did like is, I stopped at the coffee shop on the way, sat here, and for the better part of an hour, just sat here in the truck and just watched the road go by. This doesn't change lanes automatically. You have to press the turn signal to do that, but it will use the blind spot warning indicators and then change lanes safely. So very, very nice system out on the highway to give you some peace of mind there too. There's no denying the Ram RHO is one big brute of a truck, but it's also a very comfortable truck. It's also loaded with technology. I mean, just rides nice. It handles well. The all-wheel drive system, the touchscreen, the co-pilot, all of it. Even the hands-off driving system. This one's for virtually nothing. And one of the things that's really nice about getting inline six instead of the old supercharged V8 is they got a $25,000 price reduction. Now, don't misunderstand, it's not cheap. So a base Ram starts right at $40,000. This one, $87,900. But if you compare this to other trucks in that price category, I think you'll think it's worth it. Well, next week, we'll have another fun car. And until then, storm forward.